Trudeau did have a pretty emotional farewell, which is understandable. So he did say he will no longer be prime minister shortly after this race. What do you think of that? You think Canadians are
Um,
going to miss
uh, a lot of them are not.
him?
Um, I certainly am not, and you know, color me crazy, but I gotta be honest. Honesty is the best policy.
Mm.
In my 27 years on this planet, I have never been so happy to see a politician shed a tear until Trudeau did. We've talked about it before. Um, he's a fake patriot. He's a fake feminist, and a lot of other things. And when the former mayor of Chicago, Rahm Emanuel, said that you never let a serious crisis go to waste, I didn't think that it meant using a pandemic to divide people based on their medical choices or to use the victims of gun violence to punish law abiding citizens or the threat of tariffs from our closest allies to do the most un-Canadian thing possible and boo a national anthem. Um, I know that we've had bad prime ministers in the past, but from my personal opinion, and a lot of Canadians obviously, I think that no one has done more to destroy the Canadian dream for nurses, firefighters, construction workers, young people, and even immigrants that come to this country for a better life than he has. He even said in 2015 that he thought Canada was broken. And it wasn't then. We have never been perfect, but we've always strived to be the most freedom loving, the most peacemaking country in the world. And I think that that stopped under him. So, what would I say to the Prime Minister if he was here with us right now? My famous last words to him would be, bye, Felicia. Don't call us. We'll call you.
That's funny. Um, yeah, I think I would say the Trudeau years have been interesting. It wasn't all bad. I would say it wasn't all bad. Certainly, his first term was quite good. I thought his leadership during the pandemic was necessary. It was a time of crisis, and we had to now how politicized it got and how divisive it got. That's a different story. But this last term, I think there was a lot of things I didn't really understand. I was
Like the
always
carbon tax?
I hated the carbon tax from day one because I just didn't really it just didn't make sense practically. I'm a very practical person, right? I'm a very logical. Sometimes
Reasonable,
sometimes I'm very
likable.
but I'm very very practical. Like things have to make sense to me, especially when it comes to public policy. Tell me how this works, right? I want to know how things work. I also want to know what are the impacts of the things that you're doing, right? These are questions you ask. And I served at a school board, very small role, right? And I learned to ask, what are the impacts of this thing? What could happen? What are the bad things that could happen if we did this one thing, right? What are the good things that could happen if we did this one thing? And it seems like nobody asks these questions anymore. They just go, I believe this is what we should do, and we're just going to do it based on that. And I thought a lot of the things that he did were very ideological and not necessarily rooted in practical reality. And again, that's what being a centrist is all about. So if you ask me today if Justin Trudeau was a centrist, I'd say no, right? I would say he's not a centrist. I don't even know what he is, to be honest. I don't even know what to categorize him at, because some of the things he does are pretty right wing, right? Like his unwavering support for one side during the Middle Eastern conflict. That's not a progressive or even a centrist stand. That's a pretty right wing stance. For majority of it, he sounded like Pierre Poilievre, and it was kind of confusing as to what's going on here. So He's an interesting guy. I never really fully understood um, how he was making decisions and why. Other things that he's done were really good things, like, national childcare is a good thing. Pharmacare is a good thing. There's a lot of good things that came out of this government, but perhaps they weren't necessarily, at the right time or well thought out or delivered properly, or, all these different things. And plus all the scandals, like so many scandals, right? That really, really hurt him as well. So, we bid farewell to Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. I wish him luck with whatever he's doing next, probably enjoying life and making speeches all around the world, which is what prime ministers do, and that's what he should be doing. Um, but yeah, thank you and goodbye. And we look forward to the new government and the new prime minister. And well, it's going to be Carney for at least for a little while. And we'll see how the federal election goes. If there was a federal election, maybe we can end on